Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Fadhila Amani binti Fauzi, 059813. So I'm going to explain to you about a metabolic food disorder which is known as lactose intolerance.
Introduction. Lactose intolerance is a condition that makes it difficult to digest lactose, which is a sugar found in milk and several other dairy products. Lactose is normally broken down by an enzyme called lactase, which is produced by cells in the lining of the small intestine. Lack or loss of lactase has both genetic and non-genetic causes. So for the causes of lactose intolerance, it is basically due to the variants in the LCT gene, which is commonly referred to as mutations. It's cause of congenital lactase deficiency. The lactase enzyme is made according to the instructions from the LCT gene. Congenital lactase insufficiency is thought to be caused by variations in the LCT gene that interfere with lactase processing and activity. As a result, afflicted newborns have a significantly decreased capacity to digest the lactose in breast milk or formula. Approximately 65% of the human population has a reduced ability to digest lactose after infancy. Lactase non-persistent is most prevalent in people of East Asian descent, with 70 to 100% of people affected in these communities. Next, I will talk about the risk factors of lactose intolerance. First is the increasing age. Lactose intolerance usually appears in adulthood. Thus, people with lactose intolerance usually come from a group of adults. This condition is uncommon in babies and young children. Next is ethnicity. Lactose intolerance is most common in the people of African, Asian, Hispanic, and American Indian descent. Lastly is premature birth. Infants born prematurely, which is earlier than normal birth period, less than 37 weeks of pregnancy, might have reduced levels of lactase.
Some symptoms of lactose intolerance that can be seen are bloating, diarrhea, and also stomach cramps.
Next is the types of lactose intolerance. Firstly is primary lactose intolerance. This type of metabolic food disorder, which are the people who develop primary lactose intolerance, occur to be the most common type among the people with lactose intolerance. They start their life with producing enough lactase, such as infants who obtain all of essential nutrients from milk as they need lactase. Next is secondary lactose intolerance. This type of lactose intolerance happens when your small intestine reduces lactase synthesis as a result of an infection, an accident, or small intestine surgery. Last but not least is congenital or developmental lactose intolerance. Lactose intolerance is passed from generation to generation through autosomal recessive inheritance and can also be caused by an insufficient lactase level.
For lactose-free diet, I would suggest people with lactose intolerance to try fruits, vegetables, oats, and also legumes.
Some of examples of food to avoid for lactose intolerance people are milk, dairy products, convenient meals, and yogurt. In conclusion, lactose intolerance offers many types of food to eat and also several types of food that we need to avoid. A day of eating lactose-free could still include any number of meals. One of the best ways to ensure there are always plenty of options for those with lactose intolerance is to encourage the widespread introduction of plant-based food items by companies and restaurants.